Hello friends, good evening. Am I audible and visible? Somebody please ping me so that I can begin with today's session. Yes guys, hello, am I audible and visible? Hello everyone, hi, this is Alok Ojha. Welcome to StudyIQ IAS English. And today we are going to discuss a major kingdom called as Ahom dynasty, which ruled majorly towards the northeastern part of India. And here, in short video of today, just 25 to 30 minutes video, again we are going to focus about how particularly Sukpa played a very major role in establishment of Ahom dynasty. What is Battle of Saraighat, which was fought between the forces of Ram Singh and particularly Lachit Borphukan. Who was Lachit Borphukan? One of the generals, and we'll understand about the administration of the Ahoms in short. Okay. So guys, let's begin with the Ahom kingdom. We will go in a step-by-step manner for easier understanding of the concept. So before I begin, like particularly about the administration of the Ahom dynasty, let me tell you who laid the foundation of Ahom dynasty. It was Chaolang Sukpa who laid the foundation of Ahom dynasty. And Ahom dynasty particularly ruled from 13th century till 18th century. It is said that during the time of East India Company and precisely during the time of one of the governor generals at that time whose name was Lord Amherst, it is said that it got what we say the region of northeastern part of India, it was taken by the English East India Company after Treaty of Yandabu. So what was the Treaty of Yandabu which was signed during the time of English East India Company? Now, let me tell you about that. Burma, it was following the policy of expansionism. And initially, Burma had a plan to capture the region of Siam, that is Thailand. But in that case, Thailand was a very good friend of China and it was being assisted by China. So, Burma changed its plan and it completely underestimated the power of English East India Company. And then Burma attacked the region of northeastern part of India. It acquired many parts such as Manipur, certain parts of Assam, and at that time Lord Amherst was the Governor General. He immediately dispatched the forces by land route as well as sea route, and the Burmese forces were being defeated. Finally, around 1825-26, a treaty was signed which is referred as Treaty of Yandabu. Yandabu is the name of a village which is located in Burma. And as per this treaty, the certain parts of Burma was taken by English East India Company. And since the region of Assam could again be attacked by the Burmese, so what happened? English East India Company also took over the control and the command of the region of Assam. So here the Ahom dynasty ends, the Ahom dynasty rules comes to an end. So who was the founder of Ahom dynasty? So let's understand about this. Yes, good evening Nivedita. As I've told you, Chaolang Sukpa, he moved from the region of Burma. Precisely, he moved from the region of Maulang. And he, along with his 9,000 followers, 300 to 400 horses, 2 elephants, and 8 important nobles, he came to the region of Brahmaputra Valley. And during the initial days, he used to live the life like a nomad. He used to wander from place to place. He did not fix himself or he did not establish any principality at a particular place. So he came into India, okay, along with 8 important nobles, 9,000 followers, 2 elephants, 300 horses. And he settled around the region of Brahmaputra Valley during the initial days. And he kept on wandering from place to place. There were a lot of skirmishes at that time and he faced those skirmishes. Finally, at the place called as Charidio, I repeat, finally as a place called as Charidev, he established himself as one of the most important ruler of Ahom dynasty. And so, the founder of Ahom dynasty is Chaulang Sukpa. This dynasty has seen many important rulers and many important generals. One of them was Lachit Borphukan. Okay? Now it is said that the importance of this region was recognized by the Mughals at this time. Why? First of all, this region of Assam, particularly the region around Guwahati, it has a strategic importance against the invaders. Since this region is surrounded by lush green meadows and different mountain ranges such as Patkai Boom, here fortifications can easily be constructed. And this will provide a very good edge for the Mughals against their enemies, particularly those who are trying to invade there. So what happened? They had an eye over this region, particularly the region around Guwahati. And at that time, let's understand the important concept. Now, what is Battle of Saraighat? Why Battle of Saraighat is not mentioned in any of the major texts? It is a naval battle that was being fought between the forces of Ahom dynasty and the Mughal emperor, Aurangzeb. It is said that Aurangzeb tried to conquer the region of Assam for 17 times. And he had to face a humiliating defeat in all the battles. Why Aurangzeb had to face a humiliating defeat? Why this region was strategically important? And how Lachit Borphukan was able to control this region? Let's understand this. So around 1670-71, Battle of Saraighat was being fought. But let's go into the background of this. Mughals had initially acquired certain parts in the region around Guwahati. So at that time, there was a treaty that was being signed around 1639. And that treaty is referred as Treaty of Asrur Ali. And this treaty was signed between the Mughal Fauzdar, whose name was Allah Yar Khan, and Tamuli Barbarua. Okay? So what was the treaty all about? The treaty was like, River Bara Nadi is going to act as a boundary line between the territories of Mughals and between the territories of Ahom dynasty. So in 1639, this treaty was being signed. Okay? Now, later on, what happened? This treaty was being breached by one of the Mughal commanders whose name was Mir Jumla. Okay? If you remember about Mir Jumla, we have, I'll be telling you about Mir Jumla. I had given you one of the small examples of Kohinoor diamond. So I've spoken about Mir Jumla at that time. Okay? So Mir Jumla, he was that person who had gifted the Kohinoor diamond to Shah Jahan. Okay? And he was working as a noble or a minister in the court of Nawab of Golconda. So Mir Jumla later on became the military commander for Aurangzeb. And although he knew about the treaty of Asrur Ali, that river Bara Nadi is acting as a boundary line between the territories of Ahom and between the Mughal territories, still he breached the treaty and acquired the region of Guwahati. Again, another important treaty was signed, which is called as Treaty of Ghilaj-Harighat. I repeat, Treaty of Ghilaj-Harighat. Okay? As per this treaty, what happened here? At that time, Ahom dynasty ruler was Swargdev Jayadhwaj Singh. Okay? And Swargdev Jayadhwaj Singh, he accepted Mughal suzerainty. And at that particular point of time, it was a very humiliating defeat for him. And this treaty was quite humiliating for him. Why? Because annually he had to pay a lot of taxes to the Mughals. First thing, Guwahati was being lost. The regions around Guwahati were being plundered. The fortifications around this region were being destroyed by the Mughal army, particularly under the command of Mir Jumla. So this was nothing but a jolt to whom? Swargdev Jayadhwaj Singh. Now at that time, on his deathbed, Swargdev Jayadhwaj Singh, he asked his son, whose name was Swargdev Chakradhwaj Singh, that I want Guwahati to be rehabilitated again. I want here the prosperity to come back, and at any cost, you should acquire the region of Guwahati. It should not go under the Mughals. At that time, Chakradhwaj Singha, he appointed Lachit Borphukan as his military commander. It is said that Lachit Borphukan had driven out the Mughals 17 times. And one of the battle, it is one of the most important battle, which is referred as Battle of Saraighat. It actually got initiated during the time of Swargdev Chakradhwaj Singha. Okay? Now the preparations for the battle were ready. As I have told you what happened at that time. At that time, it is said that this person, Aurangzeb, he understood the strategic and military importance of the region of Assam and particularly Brahmaputra Valley. So he wanted to acquire this region at any cost. So what did he do? He started making preparation, and particularly under Ram Singh, he sent or dispatched a huge army with thousands of horses, hundreds of elephants, cannons and so on. And at that time, already Lachit Borphukan, he had made planning for a strategic battle. Now Lachit Borphukan, apart from being confident, apart from being a warrior, okay, I'll give you a very small example. There was a very beautiful system in the Ahom dynasty that a person who is healthy, he was a system of a pike. So what is a pike system? A healthy person between the age of 18 to 50 years compulsorily had to serve in the military. It was a mandatory provision. So he also had, apart from being smart, apart from being intelligent, apart from being healthy, this person, he knew the guerrilla warfare strategies. So what did he do? He knew one thing. Although Mughals have a huge army, they are coming up with horses, chariots, weapons, cannons, everything. But Mughals are not expert in naval battle. And here this is an opportunity for us to defeat the Mughals, particularly when we fight them in waters. And the place was being selected. And the place particularly is located, just a second. Is it buffering? Guys, am I clear? Or the voice is breaking? Okay. So, I'm sorry for the interruption. So, Lachit Borphukan, he made a plan. So, he selected an area, he selected a region which is referred as Andhura Bali. And Andhura Bali, it is a strategic location located around the hills of Guwahati, particularly Saraighat. So, what happened? This person arrived with a huge force, Raja Ram Singh. Okay. So, he arrived with a huge force, and as he arrived with a huge force, he initially sent a bag of poppy seeds to Lachit Borphukan along with a messenger. And in that there was a letter in which it was written, the army of Mughals, you cannot count the number of poppy seeds present in the bag. And this is the strength and the vastness of the army of the Mughals. Surrender Guwahati to us, otherwise you would be crushed easily. Okay? At that time, Lachit Borphukan, he sent a tube filled with sand along with that messenger and along with a letter. In that letter it was written, Lachit Borphukan said to the Mughal army that if the poppy seeds fall into these sand, what will happen? They will get converted into a paste. So do not underestimate the power of the Ahoms right now. Battle was inevitable. Mughal army started moving towards the region of Guwahati. And as I have told you, the strategic location was chosen around Andhura Bali. It was located on the banks of the river. So, the command on northern bank of the river was being taken himself by Lachit Borphukan. Although Lachit Borphukan was not healthy, he had fallen ill. But as he entered the battlefield, it created a tremendous zeal and enthusiasm among the other soldiers. The battle was being fought, and as I have told you, Ahom rulers, particularly the General Lachit Borphukan, was expert in guerrilla warfare technique. And they were surrounded from all the side. Like the Mughal army of Ram Singh was surrounded from all the side by the, what we say, Assamese army or the Ahom dynasty army. And finally, it is believed that what happened? Finally, this person, what we say, Ram Singh, had to face crushing defeat at the hands of Lachit Borphukan. So this is one of the famous battle of Saraighat. Okay, I'll repeat the points again. Did you get the points? Is it clear? Yes, guys. Are the points clear? Did you understand how Ahom dynasty was being founded? I'll repeat the points again within next 1 minute. So for the aspirants, those who had joined the platform a bit late, they can easily understand. Okay. Ahom dynasty, it was majorly established in the northeastern part of India, particularly in the region of Assam. And the major credit for the foundation of Ahom dynasty goes to Chaolang Sukhpa. Okay. Now Chaolang Sukhpa, it is said that he came to India, he came particularly from the northern part of Burma. Initially, he settled himself in the Brahmaputra valley. He came along with 8 important nobles, 2 elephants, 300 horses and 9,000 followers. Initially, he lived a life like a nomad and he kept on wandering from place to place. Finally, he settled at a place called as Charideo. And here he established his own capital and started the Ahom dynasty. Around 16th-17th century, Aurangzeb had an eye over this region because of its strategic location and military importance. So, initially, what happened? Treaty of Asrur Ali was signed in 1639 between the Mughal commander, between the Mughal Fauzdar, whose name was Allah Yar Khan, and another person, Tamuli Barbarua. As per the treaty, river Bara Nadi was made as a boundary line between the Mughal territories and the Ahom territories. Okay. Another Mughal commander whose name was Mir Jumla, what did he do? He acquired the region of Guwahati. And since he acquired the region of Guwahati and Guwahati was of strategic importance, the ruler had to surrender. And the ruler's name was Jayadhwaj Singha. Swargdev Jayadhwaj Singha. Okay. Now, entire Guwahati region was being plundered. The population, like the entire village, got deserted. People had migrated to other places. Plantation fields were being destroyed. Apart from this, Jayadhwaj Singha had to pay a lot of tribute to the Mughal Empire. On his deathbed, he asked his son, Chakradhwaj Singha, that you have to take the region of Guwahati from Mughals at any cost. And at that time, Chakradhwaj Singha appointed Lachit Borphukan as his military commander. Okay. Now, this person, Chakradhwaj Singha, he passed away and he was being succeeded by another person whose name was Uday Aditya Singha. And during the time of Uday Aditya Singha, the famous battle of Saraighat was being fought. Andhura Bali was the place that was being selected as it was of strategic importance. Mughal army was led by Ram Singh, a very huge army, thousands of horses, hundreds of elephants, huge infantry, cannons. But Lachit Borphukan, he was expert in guerrilla warfare techniques. And finally, in the Battle of Saraighat, fought around 1670-71, Mughal army had to face a humiliating defeat. And Guwahati remained in the hands of the Ahom dynasty rulers. So this was nothing but Battle of Saraighat and the role of the important rulers at that time in short. Now the question comes, sir, what do we need to remember? First thing that you need to remember is who laid the foundation of the Ahom dynasty. So the foundation of Ahom dynasty was being laid by Chaolang Sukhpa. First thing that you need to remember. Second thing, what was their capital? Charideo was their capital. Second thing that you need to remember. Now, what were the incidences previous to Battle of Saraighat? In that one incident that you need to remember is Treaty of Asrur Ali, an important one. Why? Because this treaty actually created a boundary line between the Mughal and the Ahom territories. So, third important thing that need to be remembered. You can skip this part even if you do not remember the treaty of specifically Ghilaj Harighat. It's okay. Okay. And finally, you have to remember about whom? Lachit Borphukan. He was a military commander who was, what we say, appointed by whom? Swargdev, what we say, Chakradhwaj Singha. And he led the battle of Saraighat during the time of Uday Aditya Singha. These are the 4 to 5 things that you have to remember. That's it. Okay. Now let's move ahead with their administration. Now, what is the pike system? Let's understand about the system. Like during the time of the Ahom dynasty, pike system was very common thing. And what is pike system all about? The adult male members, particularly between the age of 18 to 50 years, were being appointed to the higher positions. And particularly they were what we say, involved in all sorts of military services. Like there were a group of 4 pikes, and the group of 4 pikes were referred as goat. Okay, I'll give you a very small example. Suppose I am a warrior, I have 3 warriors along with me. So we 4 would be collectively referred as goat. Okay, and individually referred as pike. Now the 3 would be serving in the battlefields. And one person, one pike, he would be giving the military service to whom? The king. So one person of the goat, he would be taking care of the administration within the kingdom, apart from providing military service to the ruler, to the king. And the other 3 pikes, they would be in the battlefield. So this is nothing but the pike system. Okay, I'll give you another simple example. You might have seen the movie 300, correct? And you might have seen the role of Spartans. Isn't that so? So Spartans were the warriors, and it was a tradition of the Spartans that every family should have at least one person in the army. Like it is believed that Spartans had a different belief, like if a small child was being born, particularly a boy, if he was short, if he was puny, he was being discarded. That was a tradition that was being followed by the Spartans, because that child, when he will grow up, he has to serve in the army. So similarly here, the pike system, able-bodied people, healthy people compulsorily, mandatorily had to give their military service. So pike system is one of the most important aspect of the Ahom dynasty rulers. Then apart from pike system, I have explained you the pike system. Swargdev, okay, the king, specifically as I have told you about the Sukhpa, royal officers, okay. As I have given you the example of Lachit Borphukan. So Lachit Borphukan, the royal officer, was being appointed in the Ahom dynasty. There was another person whose name was Bor Baruha. Okay, I had also given his example right now. Bar Baruha or Bor Baruha. He was being appointed. After him, who was the officer? Lachit Borphukan. And there were important ministers who used to take care of the administration, and these important officials were referred as Patra Mantras, 5 important ministers who will take care of the administrations of the state, who will assist the king in performance of his duty. I've told you the system of pike. Pike are individual, what we say, soldiers, and 4 soldiers collectively form what? Goat. So this is nothing but majorly about the Ahom dynasty, its administration in this short video. Did you understand? So what all things need to be remembered? Remember about Chaulang Sukpa. Remember about Battle of Saraighat. Apart from this, remember about whom? Lachit Borphukan, the pike system, and the goat. So these are the 5 important aspects that needs to be remembered. So this was a very short video, particularly on the Ahom dynasty. Okay. And I will be coming up with a few videos on one or two more videos on the regional dynasties, and then quickly we will jump on to the Mughal Empire, because I'll tell you one important example. I'll give you a small example. Just alone Akbar, okay, like we will study the entire Mughal dynasty, particularly from Babur, how did he come to power, how did he establish himself as the first Mughal emperor, Humayun, Sher Shah Suri, then again Humayun, Akbar, after Akbar, Shah Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and then Alamgir or Aurangzeb. Akbar alone will take 2 to 3 videos, minimum 3 videos, I'm telling you. Okay. Why? Because in the first video, I'll be giving you the example of the early childhood years of Akbar. How Akbar came to power. What was the role of Bairam Khan at that time? Who was Mahama Anga? Who was Adam Khan, foster brother of Akbar? That will take one video. Akbar's Rajputana policy will take one video completely. Akbar's conquest, particularly of Malwa, particularly of Gondwana. Okay? Then different battles like how did he acquire Balochistan, how did he acquire Sindh, how did he acquire certain parts of Kabul. So this will take another video. Religious policy, Mansabdari system, Navratnas, this will take another video of Akbar. So Mughal emperor or Mughal empire is important from the perspective of terminology, administration and everything. So just alone Akbar will take at least 2 to 3 hours, I am saying. Okay. So we'll study with Mughal empire in quite depth and detail. Very soon I'll be starting with Mughal empire. Like the question arises, sir, where to download the PDF or the PPT of the session from? So you can download the PDF or PPT of the session from my Telegram channel, history_Alok Ojha. Okay. So guys, target year 2026 UPSC IS English Resolution GS Foundation P2I batch. That is July batch. The admissions are closing on 20th of July. And the fees are quite pocket friendly and affordable. That is 9,999. Okay. Like the batch is completely in English medium, which will cater to the needs particularly of the aspirants from what we say South India and what we say northeastern part of India. Since you will watch many videos that are available on YouTube, particularly related to history, geography, polity, economy. But rarely few videos are available on the application or on the YouTube, particularly related to English medium. So StudyIQ IS English has tried to resolve this problem of the aspirants by coming up with a special batches corely in English medium. Polity, history, geography, economy, international relations, internal security, GS paper 4, that is ethics, essay writing, answer writing, everything would be covered. And the fees is quite affordable, 9,999. And to avail the benefits of the batch, you can use the code Alok Live that is flashing on your screen. Okay, guys. So with this, I stop my today's session. Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.